Amelia Mosley and you're watching BTN. Thanks for hanging out with us again. Let's see what's coming up on today's show. We talk to young First Nations people about the future of reconciliation. Find out why celebrities are being blocked and learn about the race to get astronauts to space. We'll have all that and more soon, but first, have you ever accessed a site online that wasn't meant for kids? Well, according to experts, it happens quite a bit, sometimes by accident, and it's something the government wants to stop by using technology designed to verify your age online. Here's Ren.
Hello, welcome to the internet. We've got quite a lot going on in here tonight, so what takes your fancy?
Can I please watch hours and hours of cute cats doing cute things?
Yep, sure, right through here.
Yay! Next. Can I please watch the same TikTok dance a gazillion times over?
Yep, sure, right through here. Next.
Can I join a community of people who make Harry Styles themed formal wear for dogs?
That's a bit strange, but yep, on through here.
Yep, the internet will let you see basically anything. But along with the good stuff and the strange but basically harmless stuff is stuff that can be scary, disturbing and inappropriate.
I was scrolling with Instagram, Snapchat, and I was scrolling at TikTok.
It's like scary scenes of like someone chopping off someone's head or something.
You see a really scary movie and then I have nightmares at night.
And then these inappropriate like adult toys, like an ad of them.
I've seen them with their clothes off and it's not the best, and I don't think kids my age or even younger and a bit higher than me should ever see this.
Studies have shown that many Aussie kids are seeing adult material online, sometimes by accident.
Sometimes they stumble across it, sometimes it pops up, sometimes a friend shows them. And this is the problem. And young people are getting very distressed often by what their peers are showing them.
And while there are often age restrictions on sites designed for adults, like adult games and entertainment, gambling sites, and maybe even some social media platforms, these can be pretty easy to get around.
I'd like to play some R-rated video games, please.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nice try, buddy. Tick this box first. Why didn't you say so? Come on through.
And that's something the federal government wants to change.
It is a major social issue in this country.
So, what's the plan? Well, in the federal budget, they announced a $6.5 million trial of technology designed to prove that you are the age you say you are. Kinda like an online security guard that actually does its job.
Oi.
There are a few different ways it could look. It might look at the other sorts of sites you visit and try to guess your age.
It says here you watch a lot of BTN. You a school kid?
Or it might check your age against other accounts you have, like social media.
Can you please log into Snapchat for me?
But those methods aren't exactly foolproof.
We can't rely on people being honest because if you want to do the wrong thing, there's usually a work around it.
Can I partake in your finest scary film, please?
Then there are technologies like biometrics, which could analyse your face and voice to guess your age. Or you could be asked to show ID, like your passport or driver's licence, when you get one.
Looks legit. Come on through.
Sorry.
But that's a bit controversial.
Because we've had all the hacks of the different companies where data's been taken. So if the platform says you've got to enter this personal information to access it, people won't do it.
But no matter what option the government goes with, experts like Susan say it's super important for kids to learn how to keep themselves safe online.
Technology offers us amazing benefits, but it comes with a responsibility. So please always remember that no matter what, if something is bothering you, you need to find an adult, you need to let them know what the problem is and ask for help, and you will not get into trouble.
Australians have been evacuated from New Caledonia, where violent protests have been going on for a couple of weeks now. Do you know which country New Caledonia is a territory of? Is it Spain, France, or the UK? It's France. The violence started in response to French plans to extend voting rights to thousands of non-Indigenous people. The UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has surprised a lot of people by calling an early election which will happen on July 4th.
It's the moment for Britain to choose its future.
Do you know how many Prime Ministers the UK's had in the past 5 years? Is it 2, 3 or 4? Rishi Sunak is the 4th. Before him there was Liz Truss, Boris Johnson and Theresa May.
We're ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is a bass with a deep, low, booming voice.
OpenAI's new voice chatbot features a voice which some say sounds a lot like which actor?
San Francisco, in the month of May.
It's Scarlett Johansson, who just happened to play an AI voice in a movie.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
OpenAI said it was just a coincidence, but Johansson wasn't impressed. And which Matilda is now a Barbie? It's Mary Fowler. Toy company Mattel decided to make a doll in her image, along with 8 other sportswomen from around the world. This week is Reconciliation Week, and the theme is now more than ever. It's meant as a reminder that no matter what, the fight for justice and equality for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people has to continue. We asked some school kids what that means to them and how Australia can move forward after last year's referendum. Take a look.
All that hard work we have done, we just got told it was a no.
Us First Nations people should have had a voice by now.
Although we have a long way to go, I feel like we've still came a long way.
I think it's like the one country that hasn't have their community have a say, with their own parliament.
It should have been yes, because then that could have been real change.
I heard a lot of my friends say that if we vote for yes, they're not going to help the Aboriginal people. None of my friends that were saying that were Aboriginal.
You know, I have really close friends that had, their families had opinions, but I became almost victim to their opinion because of me being Aboriginal.
Mobs didn't even choose to vote yes or no. Even some mobs in South Australia, I know, out country ways, none of them voted because they didn't get told about it.
The good that came out of that is people were more educated, about Aboriginal life and how it has been for the past, 250 years.
One thing that I saw whilst the referendum was still happening was the yes vote posters being ripped out and being spray painted on saying no. It just didn't feel right for someone to do that.
As Aboriginal, we didn't actually have a say in it. They had the say. They chose our decisions for us. We didn't get to make them.
For people to say, oh, I'm glad they don't have a voice in Parliament in a country that we were in first, it just feels horrible.
It was a very scary time because people weren't really holding back on their opinions, which I really didn't expect.
Even if the referendum said no, people are still they're still fighting for it, and it's good because I love to see it. It's beautiful.
So I'm really excited to see what's to come now that there are a lot more non-Indigenous Australians who are really getting around us.
I think that we should just keep on moving forward and wait till the next referendum to try to change our decision.
The next referendum, I hope it's a yes, so then finally us mob can finally have a voice.
So I believe there's not really one answer to reconciliation, but I think overall there's just going to be a lot of action taking place in all areas. That means schools, that means government, that means juvenile detention centres, that means everywhere. And if there's action taking place everywhere, then all areas that need to be fixed can be fixed.
I'm very optimistic about it because I think we've got a great set of leaders in Australia, the next generation we have, my generation, we have a lot of strong leaders.
The reason why we have a Reconciliation Week is to celebrate the Aboriginal culture and many other cultures to come together and recognise the Aboriginal people as the First Nations of Australia. I can teach my language towards others and also telling them about the animals and the lands and all this. So that's something that I really love about Reconciliation Week.
We want our voices to be heard. We want to get out there and show them what we can do. We don't want to be doubted and put down.
If we have more culture into our learning instead of just implementing what's new, what's present, we could
turn the stuff from the past into the future for the next generations.
There is still racism happening in Australia at the moment, but when that's all gone, I believe we can all come together and connect as one, and we can just teach them our culture and they can teach us many things as well. Yeah, I hope that happens. Yeah.
Hi BTN! We're watching you from Northern Summit Primary School!
Now, over the past few weeks, if you've been anywhere near social media, you may have come across this. #BlockoutTwenty24. It's a movement that's encouraging people to block celebrities who don't use their influence to push for social and political justice. Cushy found out more about it and whether we should listen to what famous people have to say.
He said nice ears, but I mean...
Nice ears!
Imagine there's no heaven. This is my shoe.
Yep, when it comes to celebrities and social media, it can be hard to look away.
Be careful.
Even if you want to. But over the past few weeks, some of the biggest celebrities out there have lost millions of followers because of a movement called the Blockout 2024. And it all began right here. Yep, the Met Gala. It's a massive fashion event where some of the world's biggest celebrities get dressed up in extravagant outfits. And if you did want to attend, well, good luck. Because it's invitation only and tickets cost about $100,000. Which to some seemed a little inappropriate when many are struggling and just blocks away people were protesting over the war in Gaza. Then social media influencer Hailey Bailey did this.
Let them eat cake. Here, take the bomb.
Just in case you didn't know, that's a reference to Marie Antoinette, a French queen who supposedly said the same thing in 1789. She was told her starving subjects had no bread, so she said, let them eat cake. Except, well, in French. Yep, not exactly sensitive. And it famously didn't end well for Marie Antoinette. And in 2024, it got many people calling out for a different kind of revolution.
Social media users are blocking celebrities they believe haven't used their platforms to shed light on important issues.
We gave them their platforms. It's time to take it back, take our views away, our likes, our comments, our money, by blocking them on all social media and digital platforms.
Part of the attraction of celebrities is they have a charisma, and people are attracted to that. And that charisma is partly that they can bring about the betterment of society. They can bring about social change. They can solve problems.
Brad West is a professor of sociology, and he says there's a long history of celebrities taking a stand on social issues. That's because famous people have a lot of power, and they can use that power to make a real difference.
This has to stop.
So their political opinions matter, and they have a broader responsibility for it. And they're a different sort of power to traditional political or other elites in society.
It's why Taylor Swift, for example, has faced a lot of pressure to have a say about the US election. Polls have shown that 18% of American voters would be more likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by Swift. But should we be listening to celebrities' opinions about politics or world events?
So their voices are important, but the problem is if we only listen to them or only focus on what they're saying or not saying, in the case of Blockout, it actually can limit the number of voices in the public debate and the quality of the public debate.
Some people reckon that the problem with social media is that we spend too much time listening to people's opinions, including celebrities and influencers, and not enough time learning from experts or people with first-hand experience. So what does that mean for Blockout 2024? Well, some people reckon it's a sign that young people are starting to get sick of celebrity culture, while others reckon it's just a trend. In any case, some say many of these guys should stick to what they do best.
And I think we need to come to a position where we appreciate celebrities for what they are, being good at certain things, and that we don't look to them to solve the world's problems.
We're from Climate Plain School and you're watching BTN!
Now we're going to head to space. Well, we're going to try, which is exactly what Boeing's been doing for the past few weeks as it's tried and failed to launch a crewed flight of its new Starliner spacecraft. Joe found out more about it and why NASA astronauts are having to hitch a ride to the International Space Station.
My commute to work isn't your average morning commute. I've got to travel a long way to get to my office because it's all the way up there, on the International Space Station. Salisbury near the ISS? Turns out public transport can't even get me within walking distance, so I've had to think outside the box. Hitchhiking. Hey mate. Hey, you heading to space?
What? Space? No.
Yeah, this is what it's like for NASA astronauts trying to get to work on the International Space Station. Sort of. While they don't use buses or cars, they do have to borrow spacecraft to hitch a ride to the ISS. Because for a while now, they haven't had a ship of their own.
It hasn't always been like this though. You want to give me a ride?
For 30 years, NASA had space shuttles. These reusable aeroplane-style designs first launched on the 12th of April 1981. They flew 135 missions carrying more than 600 astronauts to work. And more than 1.3 million tons of cargo, including the Hubble Space Telescope. But there were also a couple of big disasters.
Liftoff of the 25th.
On January the 28th, 1986, Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart seconds after liftoff.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded.
The shuttle program was suspended for about 3 years and came back in 1990.
Liftoff of the Space Shuttle
But
Discovery.
tragedy struck again in 2003, when Space Shuttle Columbia also broke apart as it returned to Earth.
The cause in which they died will continue. Our journey into space will go on.
The shuttles kept shuttling for another few years, but safety concerns and astronomical costs of more than $675 million per launch eventually led to the shuttle program being retired in 2011.
Its place in history secured, the space shuttle pulls into port for the last time.
But we astronauts still had to get to the ISS, so we turned to the only other country that had the spacecraft to get up there. Russia.
And there is liftoff.
Yep, Russia's Soyuz spacecraft were the only space taxis for nearly a decade. And while Russia has been a leader in the international space program right from the beginning, the war in Ukraine has made things complicated. Because of sanctions, European astronauts aren't allowed to ride in the Soyuz. Plus, Russia is planning to drop out of the ISS and build its own space station.
NASA have been trying to solve the problem though. In 2014, they gave a few $1 billion to a couple of private companies and asked them to build their own spacecraft to get us astronauts up to work.
SpaceX was the first to get one off the ground, taking cargo to the ISS back in 2012 and crew in 2020. Now, Boeing are trying to get their Starliner off the ground, but it hasn't gone smoothly.
Hurry up! I'm late!
After one failed attempt, they managed to get an uncrewed test flight to the ISS in 2022. And a few weeks ago, the crew strapped in for the first crewed mission. But it had to be cancelled because of a leak. Then last week, another planned launch was cancelled thanks to the same pesky leak. And now it's been pushed back again. While it springs a bit of a leak in NASA's plans, Boeing say they want to make sure everyone's safe.
Right, that's it. Take me to Salisbury. It's as close as I can get. I'll walk from there. Who are you?
From the very first lap, the Monaco Grand Prix was filled with action. With this massive crash leading to a red flag and a stop in racing. Oof, that car doesn't look good. Once things got cleared up, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Aussie McLaren driver Oscar Piastri battled it out for glory. But in the end, it was Leclerc's race, making him the first native Monegasque to win a Monaco Grand Prix in the F1 Championship.
It's my home race. It's a race that made me dream of becoming a Formula 1 driver one day.
And they're coming from everywhere to celebrate the moment.
It was Mariners mania at the A-League Men's Grand Final when the Central Coast Mariners smashed Melbourne Victory 3-1 to take the championship. It's now the first professional men's football club in Australia to complete a treble, with an A-League Men's Premiership and AFC Cup also under its belt. Finally, to the world of competitive timber sports, where New Zealander Jack Jordan has been crowned the Lumberjack Champion. This is the third consecutive win for the woodchopper, shattering his world record time at 52.53 seconds.
Finally today, do you earn pocket money? Well, you're about to meet some kids who have found some creative ways to make money by starting their own businesses. Check it out.
From lemonade,
I'm making lemonade so I could get my boat.
To handmade crafts.
I paint watercolour cards and sell them at Brew Coffee Bar.
To poop.
I've made maybe almost $3,000 with horse poop.
These guys can sell it all. While many kids their age are earning pocket money, Charlie, Olive and Teal here have taken matters into their own hands and have started their own businesses.
Mum's friend came over to stay in our house one time and she painted watercolour cards, and I decided I wanted to paint watercolour cards too and decided I wanted to sell them.
But it's taken a lot of hard work. Teal's been putting in the hard yards for about 2 years now, turning horse nuggets into gold.
I grew up with horses, and horses do have a lot to get out of their system, so I decided to start bagging some poo.
See, horse poo makes fantastic fertiliser, and lots of gardeners are happy to pay for a bag.
It's really just to get out of the yard, and otherwise we're just going to have it in a pile.
But sometimes, to keep a business going, you have to spend money on it, which is exactly what Olive here has been doing.
In my spendings, I spend it on supplies for like my cards and key rings.
Meanwhile, Charlie collects lemons with his dad from people in their community, which they turn into lemonade together.
People letting us have them by cleaning their garden out.
These kids say running a business has taught them some super important life skills, like financial literacy, which is basically the ability to understand how money works.
Learning how much they need for change.
His maths has certainly gotten a bit better, and I've been sort of actively pushing for that as well, trying to make sure that he's the guy that deals with the money box.
I think it's really important that children start to learn the value of money and how it will help them throughout the years instead of relying on other people.
But the extra cash certainly doesn't hurt.
I've saved for lots of things, but I got a really big Lego set.
I decided to start bagging some poo to get some money to go to a horse expo, which is called Equitana.
And if you can, and have the support, they say anyone of any age can get into business.
That way they can save for things that they really want, so they know how to use it when they're an adult.
I think they should just try whatever they love and just see if they can move their money forward and try their best.
Keep up the good work. Well, that's it for this week, but we'll be back before you know it. And if you miss us in the meantime, you can find us online, and Newsbreak will be right here in the studio every weekday to keep you up to date. Have the best week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.